Yo, crypto nation and mining family, what's going on this fantastic Monday? Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Like I said, I'm going to try to make this more consistent on my videos, like I have been saying. Can't be slacking forever, right? So I'm going to need to stop slacking, step up, and get these videos out. You know, yo, so what's going on? Jason the Tiger Osborne. He's like, if it hashes, it runs, right? I totally get that. But there is a point where you're like, yeah, I don't think so. And what I mean by that, take for instance an RTX 550 Ti. There ain't no way in hell I'm gonna run it. Yeah, I can make it hash. There's probably something out there I can throw it at and it'll mine. But its hash rate will be insignificant compared to the power draw. In other words, no matter how you slice or dice it, it will never be profitable to run it. It will cost you more in electricity than its earning potential, period. Unless Bitcoin goes to the moon, like in your lifetime, you know? So, yo. Wheeling Crypto, what's going on? I see you you went on a different direction. You were going to get those P106s, but you decided to go another way. I mean, the P106 is what is it, based on Ampere architecture, which is going to be your 10 series NVIDIAs. Yeah, they're not really totally worth running. Yeah, I have 1070 Ti's and 1080 Ti's. You guys wanting to buy them? Hit me up. I'll sell my 10 series cards to anyone that pretty much wants one. Because like, for as long as I've had them, they've mined their weight. More than their weight in gold. So I have mined those things to pieces. I got a few of them that I got to repair fans on, and I'm thinking about doing some videos on doing fan repair. If you guys are interested in all that stuff. I mean, granted, I understand they're on 10 series and stuff, but they just need to be, it needs to be done so that if any of you guys are happen to maybe want a 10 series card, hit me up in the Discords, yo. What's going on? Sadie, sometimes, yo, working and listening. Love that you're back to live streaming. Hells yeah. I got to get back into it. I've been, just because it's like trying to figure out how I want to do everything between my work schedule and like, I've also got to set time aside to do research so that these videos are even remotely relevant, right? To Jason's like, my bills are based on my income. I could run anything. It's like, yeah, I get you. I totally get you. You could run anything that your living space will allow. But at some point in time, there's that trade-off of, okay, I need to get rid of this hardware to free up this power, even though you might not be paying for it. I don't care if I don't care if you got free power. It's not necessarily the best option to run anything you can get your hands on. An R9, I'm not going to run an R9. I'm not going to run a 550. So, I mean, why? Because I can get newer hardware that could use the same amount of power, and I get triple the hash rate. So it's just kind of being smart with the power you have available. What's going on, John Germain? What's up? Too much scorpion sauce in it. You got some of those scorpion peppers. Those things are, woo. I don't know what's really worse, a scorpion pepper or what is it? that the ghost peppers. You know, I've seen I've seen some people like doing some like pepper challenges, and it's like, oh my god, you guys are nuts. There's a point where you're just basically sucking a flamethrower. What's going on, Automatic Boots? Got Gundy stuff and things in the house here. Yo. Scorpion pepper is way hotter than a ghost. Oh god. Yeah, I can't do that, man. Tabasco now has a scorpion and a habanero bottle of hot sauce. Woo! I like my hot sauce. Don't get me wrong, bro. Whenever I was in my 20s, many moons ago, bro, I would sit there and tell people, man, you got anything hotter? Man, that's the hottest you got? Man, this is weak. Now, the hotter it gets, about an hour after I get done enjoying all that hot deliciousness, it's like you do that single burp and you're like, oh my god, I'm on fire on the inside. Oh, yeah. Don't get old. It's over fucking rated. Congrats on that free hash rate. Man, what you talking about? I want some free hash rate. Bro, share that free hash rate. No, just kidding. Sounds like Automatic Beats won some hash. That's awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations on that. It's like tiny little drops or else. I watched a person sit there and take a toothpick. Two people were bickering. So he took a toothpick, dipped it into his hot sauce, and told each one of them to open up their mouth, and he put a little droplet on each one of their tongues directly. Yeah, they stopped arguing really quick. They started working together, trying to figure out the best way to cool their mouth down. It's like, no, the stuff nowadays will kill you. Take the challenge test, please. Yeah, I'm not doing the one chip challenge. No, thank you. I've watched people do that. I've had a bite of it. I didn't eat the whole chip. It's not horrible, but it's like a heat that just hits, and you're like, oh, this ain't so bad. And then like 5 minutes later, you're like, wow, that's got some heat. Holy cow, I'm glad I only took a little chip of that. It's like drink wax like Homer Simpson coats the organs. That is true. That is so true. And as you guys are sliding on in here, don't forget to smash that lizardy like button. I see 7 amazing people here and only 3 likes smashed, guys. Yo, just reminding you. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and get into some of today's hardware. Yo. So we've got the 7900 Golden Rabbit Edition getting even cheaper in Italy. So, yo. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mikkel was telling me about how to get rid of the emoji stuff. Thank you for whoever's pressing the emojis to remind me that I need to take that off. Customization. Live reactions. Save. It's gone. Woohoo! My MI50 showed up today, running a little bit warm, but still hitting at 9 kilohash at 100 watts. Nice. That is nice to know, my man. Mining at Dynax. Yo. That is awesome. That is awesome. Good score on that, sir. Sad face, no more spaz button. It makes it really hard to read the very first chat that comes in. Gunny, I know you've never seen like the backside of this, but like I have it on my smaller screen, which like smushes this chat a little bit, and you can't see what people are typing behind the emoji thing. So Thank you for spazzing that out so I can remember to remove that. Uh, but yeah, I mean this Golden Rabbit edition, you're looking at 672 pounds. I think that's like somewhere around the same price, like 700 bucks American. And this is a base model card. Don't be like, oh my god, it's a 7900 Golden Rabbit edition. It's a base model with some really nifty little words after it so that it'll sell, right? Because you never know if you get a bin ship or not, right? I guarantee you these are not bin ships. These are XT and XTX failures that are being cut down a little bit. Whatever failed on the VGA core, they're turning those sectors off and reselling them. It's like a lot of these foundries are zero waste foundries. So you're going to find that there will be production runs where they didn't meet up the standards. Instead of just tossing them, why not make those into the base model card? So, and then sell it super freaking cheap. I would be probably on board with it at that $600 price range. You know, anything higher than that, it's a hard sell on me. To be more than like $500 to $600 on a cut down card. Has bad reverb. Hold on here. I've got bad reverb on this. Hold on. Let me turn on NVIDIA broadcast here. That should fix it. Audio is fine for you. Okay, cool. And Wheeling Crypto, if you're getting bad reverb, everybody else is saying it's okay, refresh your screen. Sometimes that could help. It's like, sounds like wind chimes. Haha. Oh, that's hilarious. Sounds like wind chimes. You are hearing my ASICs in the background. I've got 4 Bitcoin miners rolling right now, bro. I'm over 300 terahash on that sweet Bizity Bitcoin. So if that's what you're hearing, you are hearing the sound of freedom being minted. Fan noise for the win. You know it. Because, like, I can only do so much. I've got noise removal and everything already on. First, you made it worse. Then it returned back to wind chime. Ah, it's gone now. Nice. I can only do so much. With the ASICs, I mean, they're less than 15 feet from me. In the living room area, it is. You hear the fans very clearly in the living room. And the back of the house where my bedrooms are, not so bad. Sorry, guys, I have small little sinus infection. Oh, I hate having little sinus infections. It's always this time of the year. Indoor allergies for me are the absolute worst. And I'm being a mechanic, so I'm grinding on like steel rims, aluminum rims, aluminum knuckles for where your bearings for your car are bolted onto. You know, grinding rust and stuff, and then inhaling all of that. I try to mitigate a lot of it, but it is what it is. It's like everyone in the effing country has sinus problems right now. Just saying. Hell yeah. It's that time of the year. If you guys want to have better air quality at your home, keep a window open every so often in your house. It'll help improve air quality. But going after this, going back to this, this would be something that, like, depending on price on there, if I can get one of these for like $500, 5 to $600, I would probably consider it. Maybe not so much the XFX editions. I'm not really a big fan of FXX, but if I was looking for budget friendly and I was not going to sit there and spend the big bucks on NVIDIA lineup, this would be probably the direction that I would go. I would probably go after the Sapphire editions. You're going to be a little bit more, but you got a better card overall. Sapphire knows how to make an AMD card very well. It's like wait until you're older and get food allergies. Oh man, I already got a food allergy, bro. I cannot have cilantro. I can eat a little bit of it, and it's not so bad. If I eat too much of it, my sinuses are growing. My throat feels like I got a hair stuck in the back of my throat. Terrible, terrible. I think that's about as far as I've gotten since I've worked my way into my 40s. Like, hell yeah, Sapphire is dope. So, I mean, if I was going to do it, I'd probably bite the bullet for the Sapphire edition. But this is not something that in the U.S. we're going to see too much of until either one, they start getting more stock of these. Because now this is being unveiled in Europe. And DIY market, I think in maybe once they get the numbers up on there where they get more and more failed chips, they're going to start turning them into GREs, and then we should see it in the US. No guarantees though. Otherwise, for the most part, you're going to be looking at Alibaba, AliExpress. Hope you don't get ripped off when you go there, or you're looking at the secondhand market or scalper market for these particular cards. Nothing that I would like go out of my way to go get, just to be honest. But if it's available where you're at and the price is right in your budget, this might be a perfect, gaming / mining card. Karma for me is calling the new kid sniffles at the lunch table. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So, for anybody that's in Europe or close enough to Europe to be able to get your hands on one of these, and you do, hit me up. I would love to do, even if I'm just like remoting into your rig real quick and playing around with it. I'd love to have the opportunity and be able to video playing around with the Golden Rabbit Edition. If anybody out there in the wild gets one of these, hit me up. Discord, links down below. And if you guys do cell phone mining, here is one not to do it on, guys. Not at least as of right now. So if you're trying to get the new Samsung Galaxy A13 5G network, be careful of what mining hardware you're trying to get. It doesn't look like the OS for this is being supported by any of the miners quite yet. So the older phones, no problem. I mean, we already know Apple's a no-fly zone, but the Galaxy A13 5G is definitely not one of them that is very good. There is a way to be able to make the various miner launch on here. And if you do get it to launch, you're going to get it to launch with no optimizations on there. So just know that you're not going to be optimized for this in any way, shape, or form yet. I think this is just new hardware dropping, and the various miner just needs to be updated for this. And then you'll be able to grab the new phone and let it rip. But I wouldn't do this until it's been confirmed that the A13 5G actually works. before you do this. It's like, nah, I'm using the A3 from TrackPhone. Nice, nice, nice. So hold off on grabbing the new phone if you're utilizing the Varus miner. I know people that like Brandon Coin. I know he's a big. He had like a little cell phone farm going on for a little bit there. I don't know if he does still, but definitely hold off on that for the new lineup. It's like getting a new GPU. If it's just hitting the market, if the miner even recognizes it that it's a GPU and can mine on it, it's not optimized. Like whenever I got my ROG Strix 1660 Ti, it was probably about a month before the miners knew how to play with it. It was screwing up the communication between the 1660 Ti and 1070s. It was calling them out like they were one of the two same cards. So I believe, me personally, that the 1070 and the 1660 Ti architecturally are really close to each other, and the miners were just having a problem with it. Put it onto my 1080 rig, life was happy. So yeah, definitely just kind of be careful of grabbing new hardware. I know we all want to, hey, it does a hash, we're gonna get it. It's not always the best thing. Not always the best thing. And if you guys are looking for mining Varus coin, check out the optimizations for the Orange Pi 5. Yo. So there's a copper mod for this now. You can sit there and run the Orange Pi with their H6. Is that right? Oh, rack chip. Hey, they got a different chipset in here. Cool. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely looking at a copper mod on there. This would give you a much better contact. I mean, we all know how copper likes to absorb heat and redistribute it. Good thermal compound on there. You're good to go. So definitely looks like this can do pretty good. John Germain, if you're utilizing Varus coin, is 6,589 kilohash a second, a good hash rate for something using less than 20 watts. I don't know too much about the hash rate on these on the Orange Pis. I know that they're pretty. I know Raspberry Pi very well, and I know that Orange Pi is going to be very similar. Oh, Retro Mike Tech is the phone guru. I'll have to ask him that if like 6,500 kilohash a second on Varus coin is actually like decent. You only get 3 kilohash on the phone? Holy cow, that's not even worth running, is it? Man, you should get our Orange Pi then. Orange Pi 5. That's getting over 6,000 kilohash a second. It's like, no. Like, yeah, that's why I'm always kind of leery about like mining on small form factor hardware, unless it's like really worth it. I mean, like I can mine XMR on my Raspberry Pi, and for what I was spending in electricity is what it was earning, so it was like washing itself out. For a cool little project, it's awesome, but for full out mining, to me, it's just not really worth it when you're catching so little of a payout from all of that. So that's because some of the reasons why I've never really gotten into phone mining. I would never recommend laptop mining, period. Laptops just don't have the cooling capabilities for that. And neither do their power supplies and batteries. We know how EV batteries like to blow up. Your laptop's not really much different than an EV battery. It can't handle that kind of power cycling like that. What up, Tech Man? Hello from work. Nice, nice, nice. I got all the cool people here today. It's cool, cool. And we have a sad time here. I got to give bad news to all of you. I'm giving bad news right here. Check Retro's Discord. 6 kilohash will earn you 6.2 cents a day. And 3 watts is about what they draw. Holy cow. It's like laptop battery is EV battery. Pretty much, just in a different shape, right? 6 kilohash will earn you 6.2 cents a day. Really? Makes me want to set up a Varus miner onto my I do have a Rock Pi, but it's a Rock Pi 3. I mean, not yeah. I have a Rock Pi, Orange Pi, and then I've got a Raspberry Pi. I wonder if the software will work on a Raspberry Pi. It should. It's like same tech, shitty. Yeah, exactly. But talking about stuff that's shit. Linux AMD VLK drivers say goodbye to the RX 500 and Vega series. Is Windows next? Dun dun dun. It's like a Raspberry Pi sounds good. I'm hungry. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock, man. But at least where I'm at. That's well after lunchtime. But gamers that are still utilizing or miners, I think the mining community will keep support for this a lot longer for the Vega and the RX 500. But without them pushing out any updated drivers for these, I don't know how much they're going to be able to keep the optimizations for it going. So there'll be a point where, yeah, they'll be on there. There'll be support for it, but for how long, right? Which, if they're no longer doing BIOS updates for the 500 series, that also means the 400 series is no longer going to have any support either. This is going to wipe out the early RX line, guys. Your Vegas, they've been kind of halfway out the door already. Temperamental little cards with HBM2 memory or HBM memory, depending on which variation you've got. So hangry. Did somebody say, "Pa, go eat something, Gundy"? So I think it's just going to be a matter of time before we're going to see another lineup of GPUs just kind of being set off to the side, no longer being utilized for mining. I mean, I've got RX 580s that I've got to basically pull out of my server case, clean them. Thinking about putting on the fan shrouds back onto them, and I'm also thinking about selling. I might keep one of them just for nostalgic purposes. I'd like to keep at least one of every GPU that I've ever bought. So a bunch of the EVGAs. I want to keep one of each, collector's purposes, right? The Gigabyte 10 series, keep one of the non-TIs, keep a TI. If I've got any duplicates of the EVGAs or just a single EVGA, I'll end up keeping those. But I'm going to be looking at probably unloading some of my older hardware. Crypto Bedell, send me a message in Discord. Make me an offer. I've got 7 of them. How's that? because I got 8 altogether. But like I said, I'm going to keep one, just so that just because of where the 580s came from. If anybody has been in this crypto space as long as me, that's here, um, you'll remember a YouTuber, Digital Gold. DigiGold had a hosting facility that he shut down during the first bear market, and or during the big bear market from 2018. He shut down his facility in 2019, and I bought these cards from his facility. So this came from another well-known facility. They're super clean. I've got the fans off of them, so the fans have got like no spin time on them for years now. I know. He's been a manager over at Wally World for a hot minute. I haven't spoke to him in a while, just because he kind of went down a different path that I don't really approve of, and I just kind of distanced myself from that aspect. I mean, I don't have any problems with him. No beef with him. Cool guy. I have no problem chit-chatting with him. But for his YouTube content, yeah, I kind of walked away from that one. But either way, I mean, like, so just know that if you guys are in your main PC, if you're using a 580 or a Vega card, this is kind of your sign that especially if you're using Windows, I mean, for Linux, the drivers will still work. It's just not going to get any updates on it. So you're not going to get, if there's new programs that have updated, you might start losing functionality between your GPU and some of your programs on with Linux. Mostly it'll be in the rendering software side of things, and maybe some games, But once the driver support really gets taken away from Windows tends to keep the driver support for longer. But at the same time, I see that this is going to be, kind of going on its way out the door. I mean, like, I could plug in my RX 580. Windows will still update the driver for it. But it's not going to be on the brand new drivers. I mean, my 550 Ti no longer has driver support, which is fine. Old hardware goes off to the side for a reason. Hopefully, you could still utilize it in some benchmarking. And that's pretty much why I would like to keep one of all of my older hardware. Testing purposes, right, guys? Testing purposes. So I just, I'm just seeing that, this is just a sign that you guys, if you're on older stuff, start thinking about updating. I mean, eventually it's going to be the 10 series, guys. Eventually it's going to be the 20 series. It's just a matter of how long it's until that happens. Typically, I see with Windows, you have good functionality with it for at least 5 years. 5 to 7 years. Usually after that 7-year mark, that's when you start losing support. It's just they're optimizing for the newer hardware, and it's hard to code in stuff for the older hardware so it could still run, even if it's cut down. So, and eventually it'll be like that in the mining realm where, I see less and less people messing around with the Vegas, the Vega 56, the Vega 64s, the Radeon 7s. You don't really hear too many people really messing with it other than, a few people like, Red Panda Mining and stuff like that. But he's, again, utilizing it for testing purposes. Yes. I will say that that the 1660 Ti actually doesn't do too bad. I mean, considering that they're super efficient, I basically look at the 1660 Ti as like that in-between card of a 1070 Ti and a 1080 Ti. You get a little better performance than a 1070 Ti, but you get a lot of the power efficiencies that came with the 1080 Ti architecture. It's like, yeah, with 1080 Ti, they're going to be pushing a lot of the power, but they also learned optimizations by pushing all of that power because they got to mitigate the heat still through the VGA processor. It's like I have an appreciation for low power cards. I do too. I do too. I mean, that's why I've kept my 550 Ti. I will keep all my, and on top of that, my 550 Ti is just an amazing test card. Oh, I've got no video. Let's see if your GPU's fried. Stick this in there. What would I be able to mine on a GTX 580 4 gig graphics card? Oh, good God. You could do Dynex. I believe you can do ETC, but with all the ASICs that are on there, there's too much competition. The ASICs are hitting all nonces on ETC, so you are in direct competition with the ASICs with ETC, unfortunately. Hey man, I will still halfway pimp Ethereum Classic. Flux still. I can't recommend anybody to touch Flux Network. I cannot do it. I have too many issues with the way that the devs are, and then what's his name? The spokesman for Flux. What is it? Dan something, whatever. Yeah, no, I can't get behind all of this stuff anymore with them. Yeah, you can get Ergo, Avian. It's hard to get behind some of the speculative stuff like that. Alphemium, sure. It's like ETC's always been good to me. Ain't that the truth? Hell, I still got some old school E3 amp miners, dude. I mean, I have 3 of them bad boys up and running. They're not running right now though. But the only thing you can mine on them right now is ETC. And for 700 watts and only 200 mega hash, it's kind of hard to go, yeah, I'm going to run that. Unless we got like bull run status where ETC's trading above $50 per coin, an E3 amp miner is not worth running. Yeah, Ark Keller is a real treat. Yeah. And the way he treats people. Great PR for Flux. What up, MC? Yeah, I'm not sure about Nyaxa and Nexa either. Oh yeah, all this crypto drama around the whole Flux bunch of guys. I just with all of that, they basically shot themselves in the foot. It went from something that I'm like, hey, kind of a cool little project here, very active community. I like that. I know it's super centralized. It's how most poop coins are, super centralized. But whenever you kind of start the in-house fighting with them because you had a bad day or you're tired of dealing with people crapping on your project, you kind of lose me. You know, it's like you're an altcoin. You're going to have to expect that 70% of the people out there are going to crap on your project. And if your skin is so thin that you can't handle it, you in the wrong field. Yeah, you can't do Raven. Well, yeah, I think it's because it's above the 4 gigabyte. I'm not sure. But AMD on Raven is not worth it. There's just not enough VGA core behind it for the amount of power that you're going to utilize with it. So that, I mean, that's just me. Make heat and gamble. Yeah, I mean, you're gambling on what coins you're actually looking at and stuff, for sure. Uh, but I mean, like those 4 GB cards, I'd be looking at trying to offload those myself. Not mining advice, not computer advice, but I'd be like myself personally, I'd be looking to offload the 4 GB cards and getting into something that's going to be a little more usable long term, right? If you're unwilling to get rid of old hardware to update your mining gear, at some point in time, it's just not going to be worth it to mine for you. So you got to treat mining like a business. Always be forward thinking, especially if you want to do this. I mean, if you don't care, as long as you're getting sats and that's all you matter, fine. But I would be looking at constantly staying at least 1 to 2 generations from current. You don't have to have the biggest bad boys equipment on the market. It doesn't always necessarily mean that you're going to be the most profitable. I mean, look, a 4090 is not profitable. Or is it profitable right now? A 4090. A 4070 Ti is making more than a 4090. Right? I mean, think about that. A non-TI 4070 is making a penny less than a 4090. So kind of keep that in mind, that you don't have to have the latest and greatest hardware. I would never even promote that somebody does that. You just want to get the most efficient hardware and the best bang for your buck. And if you've got a single 8-card rig and you can only run 8 cards, and let's say that's your limit, right? 8 cards. Would you not want to have the most efficient 8 cards that you can buy? And if that's yes, then you have to be willing to kind of let go of some cards and kind of exchange everything around. This stream is the best for viewer participation. Hey, man, I try to get everybody involved. I mean, I love having the conversation with all of you guys too. I mean, this is your time to be able to, get the best knowledge out. This way you can make the best decisions for yourself in your mining gear or your gaming gear. Like room for all of us, but fit where you do. Not where people want to support a company. Correct. Don't think about brand loyalty. Think about what's the most efficient and the best bang for your buck. Those are the only two considerations that you're going to want to look at. No problem, Badil. Take it easy. Or you can just mute this, Badil. And it could be just like in your pocket while you're working. I know you're probably at work right now. What's up, all set? It's like, sup, manas. It's like, yeah, some streams have become total advertisements. I know. And I try not to do that. I'm a tech junkie. I'm going to bring tech news here. I don't care about shilling this company, shilling that company, shilling this company. If a company happens to give me something, yeah, I'll do a video on it, or 2, or 3. Especially if the equipment that they send me is cool. But it's not going to be an advertisement plug to them directly. I leave myself the ability to be able to review it freely. And if I think their product that they send me is junk, I'm going to say it straight up. It's probably why I don't get anything. It's like, buy this super duper ASIC today. Don't delay mine today. Get it here at www. whatever crap company it is. I know, I can't do it. Can't do it. I mean, I get it. Somebody wants to sit there and send me like $2,000 worth of equipment because, I mean, let's say it's the Chaos Zero Pro now, you know, $2,000, right? Well, they got to get $2,000 worth of value out of me. I get it. And, you know, if I was somebody like Red Panda, I might not sit there and straight up shill it like he does, but, you know, I'm not at 100,000 subscribers, and I don't get to make the rules up my way. So until I get to that aspect, yeah, I'm definitely not going to sit there and be like a complete shill. I don't mind sitting there and going, you know, making a plug-in for somebody. Hey, you know, they're going to send me this gear. Well, they get 20 slots for $2,000, you know, of a quick little tidbit. Hey, if you guys are looking for yada yada equipment, you can go here. But at the same time, if I'm not willing to buy it from them, I'm not shilling it either. It's like drop $5,000 on an ASIC, wait 2 months to get it, and ROI in 3 years. Sign me up, right? I get it. And some of your followers will never ROI. That is so true. And I try telling people too, if you are going to get into investing or crypto mining, it doesn't matter which way you're looking at it. There's no such thing as ROI. The reason why I say that is if you spend $5,000 on equipment, you are out that $5,000. You don't magically get that $5,000 back that you spent. That's the cost of doing business. And with that mindset, it's okay. If I spend this $5,000, am I going to get $5,000 worth of value coming back over the lifetime of the serviced hardware? That's the big trick. You know, is it worth it long term? I don't care if I spend $5,000, by the end of the year, I expect it to at least do a third of the price back in profits over the electric, or hitting that $5,000 that I spent in 1 year over the price of the electric that's being utilized. It's why my GPUs are off. It's not enough of a spread for me to turn my GPUs on. Like almost earned my license fee back on my crank radios, 2 months. Yes and no, Ark. I would take you're on the right path. You're on the right thought on that one. I would go, this would be the way that I would tell people. This is me. You don't ROI until you sell the GPU. The moment you sell the GPU, that's when you ROI. Because then you're getting your return on your investment. Everything else is just, you know, if I have a mechanic shop, each bay is worth 40 hours a week minimum. You know, so I need 40 hours a week worth of income coming back into me over the price of doing business. Because you're going to have that new expense of running the hardware, and you want to make sure your profitability over that expense is higher. ROI is kind of a crappy way of looking at investing in any way, shape, or form. Because like I said, you don't ROI nothing until you sell it. So whether you're selling the crypto, whether you're selling the stock, or whether you're selling your mining gear, you do not ROI until you sell. So even if let's say you spend $5,000, you've got $10,000 worth of crypto that it's mined, but you've got $6,000 worth of electricity that it costed you. So you got $4,000 profit. So even over the course of 2 years, you're still underwater on your initial investment. I'd like to see the profitability exceed my initial investment in a short amount of time, and that's a perceived ROI. To me, again, I don't perceive an ROI until I sell the gear. Like my E3 ant miners. I had a boatload of them, guys. I was an early adopter. I had batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, and batch 4. And yeah, this place was humming with ASICs, guys. I never looked at it that even though crypto wise, I only paid for one ASIC out of my pocket. That machine paid for the next ASIC, and then the 2 machines paid for the next one, then the 3 machines, and then I was picking up 2 or 3 of them at a time because I wasn't paying for it. It was coming out of the profits that the miners were actually utilizing. So I only needed to sell one E3 ant miner in order to ROI. It's like, look at it like mining equipment and tools. Yep, kind of like a tire shop. You buy a new tire balancer or whatever equipment it does. Do they actually ever look at the machine as they paid for itself? No. It's just a tool that allows you to make more money. There's no ROI. It's just, I can now make more money. That's the name of the game. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Like cheap electrons, cheap basics, overclocked hardware, and take gangs. Mix for success. Electric. Yep. Yep, the cost of doing business. Yes, that is right, Chunk. 100%. This is the cost of doing business. Right. I mean, I got 100 grand in tools. I'm a master mechanic. I have over 100 grand in tools. I can just make more money than the guy who's got $500 in tools. I can make more money than the guy that has 20 grand in tools. And the reason why is, you know, there's a certain point where maybe you spent 30 grand, you pretty much got all the tools you need to work on cars. You should be able to make money. Then you start getting into your specialty tools. Not so much that the tools you have already, you can't do the job, but the new tools are going to allow you to do that job more efficiently and faster. That's the name of the game. And that's basically what mining's all about. More efficiently and faster return, right? You're going to return faster than you're spending your electric. That's your trick. And sometimes that's going to be ASICs. That's how I got into the E3s. At that time, in order for me to build a rig to mine on Ethereum or Ethereum Classic for 200 megahash, if I wanted a GPU rig, that would have costed me around 2,200 to 2,400. I could pick up an ASIC for $2 grand. So I'm saving myself $300 to $400 right off the top. It's a more effective way of spending the money. That's where I'm always saying, you know, you got to weigh in all these little factors. It's not, hey, I've got free power, I'll plug in a rig into every outlet. There's a point where you can be more efficient, even if your electricity is free. I don't care if you pay for your power or not. Yes, I'm talking to you, Jason the Tiger Osborne. Free power does not mean just run anything you can get your hands on. You still want to be smart about it. Your fuse panel has only so many amps in there, and you want to utilize them amps as efficiently as possible. I don't care what scale you are at. This thought pattern scales up completely. Like specialty tubes is what you get. What's this I hear? IRS is gonna tax credit car point card points. There goes my wife's Amazon. Damn. Nice art. Nice, nice, nice. I know one of these days I want to get talking about my my Power Stroke 7.3 turbo diesel and my 95 Ford F250. I want to get those hybrid injectors. They've got 200cc hybrid injectors that you don't have to do anything special for them. They work beautifully. So thinking about doing that. I've been thinking about it since I got the truck, and it's like the injectors are only like $1,700. It's like those helium miners are going for under $100. Damn. Yeah, Gundy got rid of it at the right time. That's for sure. Yes, yes. There's a company in Texas that is very reputable about making Power Stroke monsters, and yeah, the injectors are good from what I understand. I know a few people who've got them. Like, it's like only. It's like UK. How many GPUs could you buy for that? Well, it depends on what series GPUs you're looking at. If you're looking for like 1660 Ti's, you can get a lot of them. If you're looking at new, you might be only getting one or two. So it kind of depends on which GPUs you're looking at. Depends on how many GPUs you can actually get your hands on. Full force diesels in my... Yeah, I've heard hit and miss. Like, in order to utilize the full force diesel injectors, sometimes you gotta change out your valley pump. And if you haven't chipped your computer, it's not going to utilize the injector all the way. Well, smoky cold starts could be a sign of bad glow plugs, or your glow plug relay is no longer turning on. They were supposed to be stock injectors? Whoa. I would check your glow plugs and your glow plug relay. Make sure that, it's like I have new glow plugs. Make sure the relay's turning on too. Power Pro for the win. Yeah, make sure your glow plugs are, the relay's turning on. Make sure the module's telling it to turn on. You know what to do. Relay works. Okay, cool, cool. I just had to replace my relay. Only reason why I'm saying something. Then I would power probe the glow plug through the through your connector, and make sure it's actually completing a circuit. I've had because like my 7.3, I think yours should be the same way. I think all the 7.3s were the same way, where the wire harness is built to go through the valve cover gasket. And I've had it where I've had connector problems. I've had to replace vehicle side harness where it connects onto it. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that'd be where I would go. You know, make sure that the relay is actually passing power to your connector, all that good stuff. Yeah, under valve cover harness for each bank. Yeah, exactly. I hate the way that they do it, but test the before you go through all of that, disconnect it and make sure that it's actually passing it through the harness. I had to replace the pigtail on the truck side. After I went and replaced all my glow plug my glow plugs, and I did the under valve cover gasket at the valve cover gasket at the same time, and I was still like three of them weren't firing up still, and it was on two different connectors on both banks. No, I have not seen the quarter mod. Have not. But let's Google it. I will check that out. I will check that out. Now we got all that hot rod stuff. I mean, we've fulfilled my crypto and hot rods name now. Woo! Place a quarter. Place a quarter under the locking tab of a connector for early power strokes. Huh. Diesel talk complete. We've had man talk. Back to crypto. Game on. I'll look that up though. I'll check that out. I'll do some research on that. But I ended up replacing, whenever I've got a questionable connector, I get a new pigtail. I don't even mess around with it. Ford patented the wiggle test. You go where the connector is, you go back about 6 inches on the wire harness, and you give it a little wiggle. If it cuts in and out, you get a new pigtail. That's simple. And then they've got the KISS formula. Keep it simple, stupid. Ford technicians made their lives hell back in the 80s and 90s. Forders make terrible standoffs. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But if you guys are looking for upgrading CPUs, well, whenever I keep telling people, whenever I see a new CPU go into a laptop, we know what's coming around the corner. I don't think it'll be this year. So don't think we're getting a new chipset from AMD this year outside of the new Threadripper stuff. So happy over that. But we have the 8000 series, but it's going to be the U signification, which is going to be for laptops, which they're going to be low power mode CPUs. But they always come out with these first on the laptops. So we'll be definitely getting these in. It'll be encompassing Zen 2, Zen 3 Plus, and Zen 4. We'll have the RDNA 2 and RDNA 3. So this series will maintain this practice as the leak is coming out with. So Ryzen 7, 5, 5 Pro, and Ryzen 3. All coming out on laptop. So expect to see this probably next year. It usually takes a lot longer for PC side to actually get these because they put them through more stress tests on them. They ramp up the power on them so that you get all the performance out of the chip. And then they've got to make different drivers than they would for laptops and all that stuff. And with laptops, all AMD has to do is create the chip. And then they could sell the chipsets directly to the laptop makers, and they do with what they will. They just tell them power and heat requirements for it, and the laptop people go from there. So laptops, notebooks, we will be seeing these in. They will, typically they'll range from anywhere from about 23 watts to about 64 watts, depending on which variation you're getting your hands on. If you guys are looking for new laptops for work purposes, if you need the CPU power, this might be a good one to grab. I'm just saying. So we will definitely be seeing that coming out here. And this one, I always cringe when I see these ones. This one always just, it smells like a money grab. So we've got the GeForce RTX 3080 Ti Mobile Desktop Hybrid. Shows small performance differences compared with the official mobile SKU. So we've basically got a laptop GPU being put into a regular GPU. In other words, they created more of these laptop style GPUs than demand really needed. So now they're stuck with these cut down laptop GPUs, and they're like, well, let's just slap a cooler on it and sell it. Somebody will buy it. Not realizing that you're not going to get all the performance off of this thing compared to my 3080 Ti. This will not compare to my 3080 Ti in any way, shape, or form. You're only getting 3 outputs. You can already tell here that it's cut down. And they wasted the money to put 2 HDMIs on there to 1 DisplayPort. Where mine, I have 1 HDMI and 3 DisplayPorts. Thankfully, this thing is not utilizing that goofy high volt connector on there, which is a awesome thing. It's like, if it's $200 new, I'll take a couple, right? I mean, but just know that your power consumption is going to be low on this. I get that. I totally do. Your power consumption will be really low on this. But the hash rate off of it is going to... it's hard to say where the hash rate's going to be without actually getting your hands on one of these things. And I haven't heard anybody leaking any of the hash rate numbers out quite yet. I'll probably end up hearing something on this in the next week or two. Because, let's be real, guys, NVIDIA and AMD both have mining divisions within the company. It's not very big, but they still have a few people dedicated running these GPUs on mining software to make sure they're optimized properly. It's like, don't think that these GPU makers are not working with the developers for the miners. Yeah, there was that point where they said, no, we're not going to work with you. But it wasn't like they didn't know what they needed to do in order to stop the miners themselves from working on the cards properly. Them being able to, in software, stop the miners the best that they could shows that they still had a mining division, guys. Just saying. Right. Well, that's what they did when they decided to not work with the software devs. They were like, well, we're going to go ahead and put an LHR limit on there because we're not going to make enough GPUs for everybody to mine with and game and sell to the data centers where they're going to be doing all the same stuff above. But again, it was only in software, and NVIDIA had to have known that all they were doing was prolonging the inevitable. I mean, hell, my 3080 Ti mines just fine. Even when it was on Ethereum itself or Ethereum Classic, it still mined just fine. It was just, you had to know your workarounds. Thankfully, I knew a few people that I could get the workarounds for. But yet I feel like they had enough. I would say that they did have enough. Um, I think that they were trying to stop the craziness that happened in a bad way, right? I think in one hand they had the general public's best interest in mind, but at the same time, I think they really didn't care, and they knew they were just pushing off the inevitable. Um, it's hard to say without actually like talking to somebody inside of Nvidia and seeing where their mindset actually was for the 30 series cards, because mining to them is dead, so now they're not even bothering with the LHR. But I guarantee you they still have a mining division. No, they weren't trying to combat the scalpers. There's no way for a company to stop the scalpers. That's something that, yeah, that's impossible to do. I mean, if that was the case, then concerts and sports games wouldn't have ticket scalpers. If there was a way to stop it, right? So I don't think they had that in mind. I think what they were trying to do, what I think that they had in mind was they were trying to make sure that gamers and the data centers all got the GPUs, and that the mining people wouldn't want the GPUs, which would have slowed down the scalpers, because there wouldn't have been so much demand on there if it wasn't for the GPU miners like myself. I'll admit it, but I didn't buy any. I bought my kingpins from scalpers, but I did not buy. I bought the 3080 the 3080 Ti that's in my computer right now was bought at Micro Center for $2,000. Micro Center was the scalper in this one. Bro, everybody was doing it. It was supply and demand at its finest. This is what a free economy looks like in the GPU market. Why? Because it would have taken the people that wanted a GPU right now, and when they watch the price go pop up to here and they're like, I can't afford that. Well, they're not getting rid of their GPU now. They're now going to be gaming on that thing, mining on what they have, gaming on what they have, until those prices came back down. Now, when those prices came back down, those same people that were definitely going to be buying, they bought in and then laughed at everybody up here that bought and had to have it right now. Just saying. I mean, with the GPUs that I was buying, I spent thousands of dollars getting GPUs. Oh yeah, we already know that Nvidia was holding back the. God, what was it? One of their meetings got leaked out, and the cat came out of the bag that they were artificially holding back hardware to drive scarcity up higher. So, if you're looking at it through Nvidia, yes, Nvidia had more than enough to sell at cheap prices. AIB partners, I'm not going to fault them on it. They're a third-party company trying to make money. They had to buy those same CPUs, I mean not CPUs, VGA cores from Nvidia. That Nvidia was charging them an arm and a leg over. Pepperidge Farm remembers that too, Jason. Too funny, too funny. So, but yeah, it just looks like with this mobile variant that's going to come out, it just looks like a money grab from Nvidia. You know that they're going to be making this thing expensive. This is not going to be a cheap GPU. We already know this. Nvidia doesn't like to do anything cheap. Exactly, Ark, and that's what makes me kind of think that that's what they were doing, was that they refused to work with Nvidia anymore, and that it's just not worth working with a company that's money hungry for their stock shareholders, because selling a product, selling the best product for the best price is not in the stock shareholders' best interest. They need, it's like they need their profits and they want them now, you know? So, I mean, sometimes people don't realize the whole business aspect behind the company and why they make decisions that they do. Now, do I agree with those decisions all the time? No. Do I wish they would tell their stock shareholders to F off? Hell yeah. Because the stock shareholders have a perception of what they want in returns and profits, and they don't care if the customers are being taken care of properly. They don't care if the customer is getting a product that is the best that it could be, because the stock shareholders want them to sell that new product, but want them to cut every possible corner on that product and then sell it. I mean, take for instance, any W body GM, right? That'll be your Bonnevilles, your Buick Regals, your Monte Carlos. All of those are W body cars. Now, you go to the older cars, and if you had to replace a fuel pump in them, you lifted up the back seat, and there was 8 little screws and a cover plate that you pulled off, and the fuel pump was right there. Well, at some point in time, stock shareholders got into the bean counters' heads and basically had them remove the eight little screws, a gasket, and the tooling for the cover. What did this save them? 12 cents per car. Times that by 100,000. That's what they cut out of the budget. And that's how stock shareholders will look at every company. Be like, oh, you're not hitting your targeted profits this year? I think you have too many employees, right? We need to make sure that we get our profits. You get rid of your employees to give us our profits, or we pull our money out. And they don't realize, and a lot of people don't realize, is that stock money goes into the company. They spend it. If too many people pull money out of the stock market, they basically have to sell stuff off. So, do you think EVGA will offer GPUs again someday? No, absolutely not. I wish EVGA would make another GPU, but they're not. They're done. I think when the CEO passes away, I think EVGA is dead. I think he's going to take EVGA to the grave with him. Typically, when you see an older guy he's starting to wind down the company. It just looks like he's getting ready to close the doors. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. He sells the company off, and they start making GPUs again. I could be wrong. But the way that it stands right now, it looks like the CEO of EVGA, he's getting older. He's winding down the amount of products that they're making. It's what you do before you shut your doors down. Again, I could be wrong. That is true. That is true, Ark. And it made me more money too, because I had to drop the whole gas tank down in order to get the fuel pump out now. Not that I'm happy about it. Not that I'm happy about it, because they still had that semi-independent suspension back there. Not happy with that. Not happy at all. Yeah, exactly. They go to gas up, and then the fuel pump stops. Ain't that the truth? I had one a month ago. 3/4 of a gas tank. Yeah, I was wearing a little bit of gas that day when I pulled it down. Even with on a nice transjack. You cannot, I had to set the gas tank on the floor so I can get the locking ring off of this thing. Yeah, not happy about that. I was wearing gas. Yep, crappy job. Yeah, but I'm fast at it. It's all about being as fast as possible. If you could drop a tank in and out of there with a fuel pump in 45 minutes and you're on a 3-hour job, you're doing good. Yeah. Yep, and I'm in the middle of the Rust Belt. Illinois, Northern Illinois does not spare the salt. Damn can. So we are well over that 1 hour mark, fellas. And thank you everybody for being here. Anybody who is new here, certainly smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you're an OG here, double check, make sure YouTube didn't turn it off, because that's a thing too. I appreciate every single one of you awesome people for being here, all that good stuff. Definitely drop some FAs in that Chizity chat, guys, because you guys are rated F for freaking awesome. Yo, that is right, guys. Each and every one of you are awesome. You are the reason why I love doing this. Outside of, I kind of do some of this stuff so I can document my own mistakes. Oh, Cammy, you are being a wild one. So, yep, thank you everybody for being here. Y'all rock. I probably will be doing a M30++ teardown here probably tomorrow. If you guys are interested in me cracking open an ASIC, plan on doing that. I got one that's broken. I want to see if I can see anything obvious on it. If I can see something obvious that blew up on the board, I can replace it really fast. If it's nothing that's obvious, at least I got it apart and I can maybe do a video of troubleshooting. I have a temperature sensor that is unhappy. So I think I need to replace a temp sensor, and I'll have the Whatsminer M30++ back up and running. So I think I gotta plug it in temporarily just so that I can see which chip, which board is having the problem before I really crack into it. So tomorrow might be just like a teardown video, and then I'll put everything back together on it. If I don't see anything obvious on the board right away, if not, I'm gonna put everything back together and plug it back in, see where the error code actually is, because it did give a chip number and sensor. So I should be able to at least pinpoint where on the board I need to start troubleshooting, because it's not a zero ASIC situation where an ASIC chip is desoldered from the board. It's screaming about temperature. So either I have bad temp on it, or I've actually got a bad thermal sensor. I'm thinking that it's probably a bad thermal sensor. No. I've never been able to get schematics for it, but they're not... They've got different call-outs for the pinout tests, but the way that they do everything is still similar to how Bitmain does it. It's not really much different. So I should be able to follow it, even though naming-wise is different. That's pretty much how I crash coursed myself on my E3 ASICs. Was just sitting there with the power with my multimeter, and just kind of going around and going, okay, power's here, these are my grounds, this ground over here, ground over here, ground here, ground here. And then the class that I took showed me what I'm looking for for testing through the ASIC chips themselves. So that's nice. Being able to look at the clock crystal on there, the clock circuit, which is a little quartz crystal. Being able to follow the frequencies through the board, follow the resistance through the board, because all of the ASICs are daisy chains together. You lose one ASIC, one ASIC chip, and all the chips behind it no longer work. Signal has to go through. You don't complete signal, you have to complete your frequency signal through all the chips and have that frequency signal go back to chip 1 to complete the whole circuit. Otherwise, that board will not hash. So, I know a thing or two about a thing or two. I'm not an expert or anything like that, but I can root around. It's not beyond me. So, we'll definitely do some of that stuff. So if you guys are interested in teardown videos of bare naked circuitry, you want to be around here tomorrow. Probably be after 6 sometime, because like I get home from work between like 5 and 6. So if I get home at 6, it'll probably be like 7ish when I do it. If I get home at like 4:35, like I have an early day, or I get off of work on time, probably be looking at about 6 o'clock. I'll start. Hell yeah, that's what I love doing. I love tearing stuff apart, showing you guys, so you guys can do some of the basics yourself too. I know a lot of you guys out there, especially you, Ark, that are tinkerers, and I can at least help you get down the way of being able to test out some of the basics on this stuff before you have to throw in the towel and actually give it to somebody who is more has the tools and more experience to be able to root out the problem. Now, if there's a problem that I can find on that ASIC board, I can't work on it. I know it sounds stupid, but I would need to buy a hot plate for it in order to get this thing to work. So I don't have a hot plate, and I don't have cooling fan. Oh, I need 3 things: a hot plate, some cooling fans, and a power test unit. So where I can like inject my voltages and stuff like that, so that I can start doing some testing. And then I need a test jig so that I can turn the ASIC chips on, and actually see about finding power, figuring out all that good stuff. So I'm actually missing 3 pieces of equipment before I can do ASIC repair. Do I plan on getting those 3 pieces of equipment? Because I've already got a Hacko FM203 hot air soldering station, and then I've got a quick, I forget the number on there, but it's a quick hot air station. So I've got everything I need to do ASIC work, except for those three little items. Now, the cooling fan setup, I can do that very easily. I have Molex Delta fans. I could set up a little test jig, a little test fan setup like that. No problem. That's the easy part. But I need the hot plate and my power supply tester. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, and then the micro soldering aspect of it. I forgot. There's the 4th thing. I need an actual microscope. I absolutely need it. I need the microscope, unfortunately. Whenever you're looking at a resistor or capacitor that's smaller than a grain of rice, you know you're doing micro soldering. So, yeah. There's just a few pieces of equipment that I'll need before I can start actually doing ASIC repair. But yeah, test jig, microscope, hot plate, and power supply tester. Yeah, we're good. And yes, Sadie, great to see me live again. Thank you. I plan on getting all this stuff up and going as like I used to. We're getting all this going. We'll have a great time. And with that being said, thank you everybody for being here. Oh, damn, we got Rude, my dude. What's going on, Rude? What up, what up? You just caught me on the end of the stream. I'm about to get up out of here. So everybody, make sure you smash that Lizard like button on the way out. Drop those FAs in the Chizity chat. And with that being said, peace out. Stay savage. And may your watts be low and your hash be high. And I'll see you on the next one. Yo. Woo. It has been fun. Yeah, peace.